Hi everyone, I'm Patrick and welcome to my whiskey den. This week we're going to be taking a look at some ryes, mainly because it is Jurye, where Ed was thinking that it is a whole month as a whole month dedicated to ryes, which I can't handle. I'm going to give it a rye day where I could taste about three or four of them, and that's about all I can handle. Typically, I'm not a big fan of ryes, but it's not a big deal. Some of them I have grown to like over time. So the first one I stopped and picked up today on the way home. I found this little mom and pop shop that I hadn't been to in a few months. And it was actually a wonderful stop because they had about 7 or 8 bottles that I wanted to buy that I couldn't find in a few other places. A little bit higher, but there's a chain store here that's going to charge you at least that much anyways. So I'd rather send it to some little guy. Rossville Union Mastercraft straight whiskey, or straight rye whiskey, obviously, but it is barrel proof. So this is actually MGP's concoction. Roseville Union, they've just kind of put out as like their masterclass series. They're trying to create something a little more unique. Their average one is about 47%, and they pick from about 189 barrels, and then they blend them between 5 and 6 year olds that are either of MGP's 51% rye or the classic 95% rye. So when you get the little bit bigger barrel proof version here, so I'm going to take a drink because I've been talking way too long, and without a drink, it's wildly inappropriate. Mm, mm, that is good. Give me 1 second. Ooh, that is nice and spicy. So, sorry we're missing Ed. I don't know what happened to him. So we're going to move on and hopefully he'll hop in here in a little bit. But where I was saying is the masterclass series of this, or the standard version, was 47%. The barrel proof version is 56.3%. I got there were 83 barrels used in making this one instead of the typical 189. So same thing, kind of the 5 and 6 year olds, but just a little more hand selected into a certain area to find a unique flavor profile that they were going for. I heard it was a little more honey, but we'll get into a little more descriptions here in a little bit. But it is kind of neat to see MGP finally, instead of making everything for everyone else, kind of creating their own and then trying to create something that was kind of top notch, showing that they can put out what everyone else has been putting out of theirs anyways for quite a long time. So I am kind of excited about this. Okay, that's really fresh on the nose. Originally, when I had a little sip of it earlier, there was like a little bit of an acetone note. Now that little bit has gone away, that might have been in the first little bit of the neck pour. Okay, caramel, like a burnt molasses on the bottom end of it. Yeah, I would say like almost like a stone fruit, like a plum, but I'm getting a little bit of that burny kind of, yeah, like a burnt caramel note or a burnt molasses note on the nose for sure. Dusty. I was gonna say kind of a light, almost like a light coating of dust to the whole nose. Where I was thinking it was a little more astringent before, I see it now as, yeah, almost like a light kind of, I don't know if I definitely not smell like a waxy, almost like a light waxy coating to it, like a light paraffin wax. If you ever had that on some kind of chocolates in winter and other things, or some other snack foods up with paraffin wax in it. And I get that little bit of a kind of smell to the outside to this that kind of layers over the top. It doesn't like just mutes it a little bit. Hmm. Okay. Oh, guess I took the whole thing down. That's okay because it is Jurye, and I think we should have a couple drinks this evening. But hmm, okay, a couple big notes right off the bat. You do get the rye. I don't get it to the second half or almost till I swallow. I get that black licoricey kind of anise flavor that I'm not the biggest fan of, but that is in there. And it is kind of strong. So I don't know. That it for me that makes it a little tough. And I know that's a problem because that's in a whole bunch of ryes. So that's that's the one of the flavors that does kind of turn me off. So this isn't automatically like shutting me down, especially at the 56%, but that flavor is one of the stronger flavors in it. Mm, okay. Definitely baking spice. Mm, okay, this is really starting to turn it up a little bit of a notch now. Um, a little bit of like a cardamom, a little cinnamon. Mm, the outsides of the tongue where it wraps around the edge and kind of starts to slide back. You really get a nice kind of spice. And that's where I'm getting my lingering burn. It's not over the middle of my tongue. It's just on the outside kind of edges going down. And that's the only place I'm getting like a long burn. I'm getting flavors in the middle of my tongue and some oils. It's not drying me out completely or anything like that. So that's nice. But the only place I'm getting that burn is kind of on the outside edge. So it is kind of interesting in that manner. Mm. Okay. Compared to some of the other powder-proofed ones I've had recently, it is a little bitey, and I did get a little bite of an astringent edge on that first swallow there. It's almost right as the air hits it. It kind of pops up a little bit and then kind of fades away. The nice part is it fades away pretty decently and hides. Oh, hmm. You get the caramely, yeah, because it's not a butterscotch. It's like a caramel, it is like a burnt caramel that I'm getting in the middle of my tongue. I almost feel like I maybe the pizza I ate earlier burnt my tongue or something because I don't know. I'm getting flavor there, but on the edges, I'm kind of missing it. So, hmm. But all in all, for a rye, pretty good. I like I said the black licorice anise kind of flavor is not my favorite, and that is what is kind of sticking around a little bit because I am getting oak, I'm getting barrel, but that is one of the components. Now it's not like ridiculously crazy, where this I can tolerate. I'm fine with it. I don't have a problem drinking it, and it is sticking around longer now. But if it was a little bit away from the black licorice flavor, and maybe more towards a little baking spice stone fruit, would be more my alley of it. But not a bad representation of a rye, especially at cast strength. I'll say maybe give it a drink. I always almost say that right away when you start drinking. Is just take a drink of something like minimal, down it, get your palate all rinsed out, flushed out, excited. Don't let the alcohol fumes overwhelm you or your mouth. Take a shot, or sorry, take a drink, then drink some water, then kind of go in if you're going to taste stuff. That way you're not shocking your system. I mean, it is good to get that first breath, but I would say it's good to get acclimatized first. Mm. Oh, that tastes so good. So, all in all, the Roseville Union Mastercraft Straight Rye is not bad, but like I said, you'd want to be up that black licorice flavor profile. I didn't get really any dill at all. There's still a little bit in here. I mean, compared to a different one I'm going to have, that in my version of it, there is quite a bit of dill. That's that I don't talking about instead of drinking it. Okay, now that I'm hunting, there is some dill, but it's very background. I was going to say the other rye spices kind of come out first. The deeper ones, like the clove kind of flavor and the cinnamon, the other ones come out first and more so in it. But there is a little bit of that dill flavor in it. So, all right. So next, I think we're gonna go over to a dancing goat selection for the evening. This is one of the other, well, oh, the last one, my apologies, like I was saying, was MGP. And for most of you, you know that's in Indiana. But this one is definitely from Lawrenceburg, from the Roseville Distillery. From what I understand, it's one of the few that did not close during Prohibition. So that's kind of a neat little addition to it. I didn't get to do enough research in it, so since I just bought it this afternoon to find out if that's like 100% accurate. But not bad for their first little selection of the Mastercraft series of stuff, or trying to do something a little bit extra. Not bad. I'd be interested to see what this would be with a finish on it. It sounds goofy, but I would think like a Marsala finish would be very interesting in this maybe about 6 months. And I think that would bring out some pretty interesting flavors to contrast with what's in there right now. Or maybe cover them up. I would kind of probably prefer the cover. I think that would be a good way to go about it. So let's rinse out this glass. Mm, very nice. So the next one we're going to go with is the Dancing Goat Limousine Rye. Reviewed this a few days ago, and this is the one that uses a limousine oak Solera finishing system. So I find that pretty interesting because it's one of the most expensive oaks in the world that comes over from France, and they never really finish emptying out one of the barrels. They're always kind of filling it, taking some out, adding some other stuff into the finish. So they're keeping some of the aged whiskey that's getting mixed in there. So, I mean, you could have parts of the whiskey that's in there that if you have the barrel for say even you've been finishing with it for like 3 or 4 years, you could have stuff that's actually from the original 4 years ago when you started doing that, as far as like picking up some of the even darker, deeper flavors from from that from the barrel. So it's just different. You'll see it a lot more in wine. You don't see it so much in whiskey, but it's something that I like people playing around with and trying to find unique finishes or unique ways to do stuff to get a flavor profile. And I think they did a really good job with this one. Well, that's just way different than the last one. Yeah, this one has a much brighter citrusy note in the front of it. Much brighter citrusy note in it. And mm, mm. It's far less bitey on the taste. The alcohol burn is significantly less. This is only like 46.5%, right in that ballpark area. So it should be, but it is drastically different as that. And I didn't think the other one was very bad, but this one is almost non-existent. And this washes your tongue, where the other one at cast strength is maybe pushing you like most cast strengths do. It pushes you a little bit to handle the flavors, where this is taking you on a ride. It's found a path and it's trying to take you on it. Where the other one is like hold on to your seats. It's not really a roller coaster. It's just like buckle in and we're going for a ride. Like some cast strength Texas stuff, a couple other places. It's just hold on and we're gonna go. And by the end of the trip, you're like, that was awesome. So it's fantastic when that happens. But sometimes it's nice when you get something that feels like it was orchestrated, uh, oh, by a composer for an orchestra, or for a symphony, when you actually feel like things are being played in motion from like the nose all the way through the beginning to the end of everything. So this is something that I think they were going for. And I think they really accomplished something unique on their first release by doing that. Mm, mm. Oh, yes, because the flavor profile is so subtle as it's flowing through. It's a much lighter rye spice. I'm going to also assume because they age in some vintage barrels or used aged barrels as well. That's where you're getting less of the tannin impact. And you can tell that because it has almost like not flavor wise, but like mouth feel like a flow, like more of a scotch as far as an aged scotch, where it's like uh, it's oh, it's bright at the front end, citrus notes, an orange, maybe a very light lemon. Then you get into like a brown baking spice note, but not a clove one, which is why I lean more into this. You get into some of the actual, like a rye spice, a little bit of medium bit of cinnamon. Now that more air is kind of getting to some of the tail end of this, and not a lot of that black licorice at all in this. So for me, it's an easy decision between them because of the whole black licorice thing. But like I was saying, the Roseville isn't a bad whiskey. It's just not my alley per se. But this is really, really nice. Ooh, that is spicy. Ooh, and bitey. But we're going to end up moving on to one more here just because it's Jurye and it's Rye-Day, which I'll be honest, guys. Earlier today, when I was going to film something else, I thought this was going to be a neat stream because for some reason I thought Rye-Day, which is just a play on Friday, and it was like National Rye Day. Yeah. Yeah. I had to look it up in the afternoon to find out I was wrong, but I had already put all this stuff up, so that's no good. Um, but you know what? Hey, I'm drinking here and it's fun and we're enjoying it. It would be interesting after I was just talking about the cast strength version of the other one as to what a cast strength version of the limousine rye would be. If some of those lighter flavors become even more emboldened and a little more complex, but that almost might take away from the symphony. You know, if that horn plays too much or gets a little too loud, but that's something I would love to try someday. Maybe what that is coming out of the barrel before they proof it down or anything like that would be something really, really interesting. So, ooh, this one is getting low. This is the last rye I have here this evening. It is just a little bit, so I'm going to have a sip of it because I'm going to have to drink it at least one or two more times for the sample send out. And we're going to make an adjustment on that in the future. I kind of got excited the first time. I sent it out to a lot of people with like 5 whiskeys. I don't think 5 whiskeys was a terrible amount to send to anybody. Um, I think we may try to cut it down to like 3 or 4 channels and do it kind of quicker. I got kind of big in that one and I put it everywhere for a second. I think we might do it 3 channels, keep it a little more concise, see what those people have to say after about 4 or 5 of the things I have, and then we'll do it again. So, you know, with a lot of things as you're learning, you get a little excited and you jump the gun and you want to be on the spot. So it's just a learning curve and we're on our way. Now, this is Driftless Gun's Young Rye. It's 122%, 122 and 61.7% alcohol by volume. It is not smelled like that at all. It's only aged 14 months in the barrel. There's different ones because they've been aged between 12 and 14 months between a couple different releases. So this one, but still, for 14 months, this does not have a whole lot of alcohol smell on it at all for being almost 60%. I mean, yay. Well done. I mean, because that's half the battle with me when you're trying to have cast strength stuff is that it is actually as punchy and as powerful as you think it should be. And that's half the battle. Like what surprised you was, oh, it tasted like it was 45. So you get into that problem like some people have with Bookers, where all of a sudden you've drank like half a bottle and you don't even know what happened and you're wandering the streets and you need help getting home. But that's also the kind of neat part is how surprising it is that it's really low and it has all this flavor and complexity as well when you like it snuck up on you like legitimately. So this is one of the ones that I think sneaks up on me a little bit. Woo. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Imperial Limousine though, on the taste, yes, a little more alcohol burn, that more aggressivity. On the nose, not so much. Not bad in the way I'm looking at it because I'm actually enjoying the way this is attacking me. Um, I'm getting a little black licorice, but that's midway through. There's a clovey baking space that is decent. Um, there's almost like a minty kind of. I think that it is mint. I was gonna say spearmint, but I think it's just. Yeah, because it's not mentholy. Yeah, it is just like a mint, like actually like a breath mint. Like, yeah, definitely in there as well too. It's almost feels like it's, yeah, like you had a breath mint in your mouth right now. On the exhale as it's coming out, it's feeling like kind of crisp. The oils are sticking around pretty decent. Yeah, what am I talking about? It's still in my mouth, giving me kind of minty finish. Definitely sticking around pretty well. Definitely getting some of the dark stone fruit on the bottom half of that. Definitely really, really nice. Oh, that is terrible. Um, well, we're getting towards the end of the episode here. Um, thanks everyone for stopping in and taking a little breakout on a Friday evening to have a drink while we're going to Jurye on a Friday. And I am going to end on Philomazine rye if we're going to be doing a rye. I just checked on my phone, and our good friend Ed is unfortunately on his way to urgent care. Has been there. So, as someone who is I was there recently for a couple of visits over a few days. Ed, we really hope everything's okay, and whatever it is, you start feeling better quick, and that yeah, you get better soon because that's not fun, and we're sorry you couldn't be here tonight. Um, but I'm enjoying a rye in your memory as I would rarely do. So remember, from my den to yours, it's not the size of the den that matters, it's the love of the whiskey. Until next time, we'll see you. Cheers.